What's going on, boxing fans? It's your guy Undercard in Boxing. Just wanted to give you guys a little breakdown of what took place over the weekend. I know we had Super Bowl weekend. Congratulations to them Philadelphia Eagles. Not a fan, um, but got to give respect where respect is due. They did their thing last Sunday, but there was a lot of things that happened in the boxing community. One that I know you guys are very passionate about and pay attention to. So I just kind of want to break it down for you guys. So there was a lot of, I guess, news, then not news, and then I don't know if it was called fake news or misinformation, but I'm just trying to get you guys squared away up to what took place. So what we first heard was that Canelo and Terrence Bud Crawford had made an agreement to fight in September at Allegiant Stadium. It went from made an agreement to now that fight was off. So when the fight was off, everyone was like, yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be a fight. It does nothing for Canelo to take this fight. Why are you fighting a guy at 154, going up two weight classes? That doesn't make sense for Canelo. So that fight was off. It was dead in the water. And we all were thinking, what does Canelo do next? What's his next move? He usually fights on May and September, Cinco de Mayo weekend, and in September, which is another Mexican holiday. So then we hear this news that Canelo and Jake Paul, a YouTube boxer who has only been boxing for about 3 to 4 years now. His last fight was with Mike Tyson, a professional fight that was sanctioned by the WBC and other sanctioning bodies. Yes, Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson. That was his last fight. Was now going to go and fight Canelo Alvarez, the unified champion at 168, holding 3 belts. He has the he has the WBA, WBC, and the WBO belt, making him the unified champion. He dropped his IBF belt by not fighting his mandatory William Skull. So that was going to be the next fight that was going to be on the docket for Canelo Alvarez. Canelo, Jake Paul, I believe it was supposed to be in Las Vegas at the Sphere. So updated all the information, told everyone that that's Canelo's next fight. And the boxing word had mixed reviews. They were kind of upset that he was going to face a YouTube style fighter next. And how you doing, Miss Joette? Nice to see you. A lot of people in the boxing world were a little upset that Canelo Alvarez was going to fight the likes of Jake Paul, a YouTube sensation. Only had one professional fighter under his record, and that's the only loss on his record. So it was kind of looked as like a money grab. And they had mixed reviews. They said it was going to be the biggest fight in boxing. People thought that that fight was going to generate the most massive pay-per-view numbers in boxing history, up there with Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, Floyd versus Oscar. It was thought to do those type of numbers. So people were saying that from a money aspect, it's a good boxing deal. Pivot. And I believe these things are all happening within days or within time frames of one another's, where we're getting information, we're putting it out, and we're reacting to it. And then immediately, as it seems as if we close our eyes and wake up to the next morning, we're getting some more news. Then we hear that that fight with Jake Paul is currently canceled. Canelo will not be fighting Jake Paul in the Sphere in Las Vegas. Instead, he's signing a 4-fight deal with Riyadh Season and Turkey Al-Sheikh to host 4 fights for Canelo. So he fights 2 times a year. So you're thinking a fight in 2025 all the way to 2026, Canelo Alvarez will be linked to Turkey Al-Sheikh. But then it's like, okay, who's the opponent? He has this schedule where he has to fight in May and September. Who will be his next 2 opponents moving forward? And so we hear that Canelo will be fighting William Skull, his IBF mandatory, in which he ducked and vacated his IBF belt. He will be fighting him in May the 3rd on Riyadh season in Saudi Arabia to become two-time undisputed at 168. Now, I think that's a good fight because he's fighting his contemporary in his weight class for a belt that he once held and now has vacated. Um, him becoming two-time undisputed, there's, that's how people play with the belts. They drop them, and then the person who picks it up, you beat that guy, then you become a champion again because you are regaining or reclaiming the belt that you already owned. So for me, at 168, the chance to become two-time undisputed, for him, it's a legacy fight, and he's fighting someone in his own weight class. So I can't fault him for making that fight take place. Uh, so we start to look ahead as to what this four-fight deal with Riyadh season contains, and it looks like Canelo will, after, if successful on May 3rd in becoming two-time undisputed, will take on Terrence Bud Crawford. He started at 135, became undisputed at 140, became undisputed at 147, and gained the belt at 154. Will go up two more weight classes to fight Canelo Alvarez sometime in September, date to be announced. So from the news of Canelo and Bud being off, to Canelo fighting Jake Paul, to Canelo signing a four-fight deal with Riyadh season, to now Canelo on the schedule will fight William Skull in May, and if successful, will fight Terrence Crawford. And if Terrence Crawford wins that fight, he will become the first male athlete to become three-time undisputed in the four-belt era. Four belts meaning the IBF, the WBA, WBC, and the WBO. Back in the day, there was only one or maybe two belts, which means you were undisputed if you held one of those belts. But yesteryears, we can talk about that for a long time. But currently, I just wanted to give you guys some updates on what's currently taking place. How you doing, Miss Joette? You still there with me? If anyone wants to hit the chat, we can discuss anything that I never. There we go. I will never trust Turkey, and Canelo is a sellout. Yeah, there is some other things that has been taking place with Turkey Al Sheikh that is kind of funny business that I wanted to discuss with you guys. Like the Ryan and Rolly fight that will take place in May. There's a belt on the line for the WBA championship, and to my understanding, the WBA belt is with Eman Stanionis, and Jerome Boots Ennis and Eman Stanionis will be fighting a unification for that WBA belt and his IBF belt in April. So how is there a belt on the line in the same sanctioning body for a fight that's already sanctioned a month earlier? It just seems that he knows how, Mr. Turkey Al Sheikh knows how to move the needle as it pertains to putting the hype behind the fight by, putting little trinkets. I see that he's been doing the undisputed belt at the undisputed fights, where you don't need an undisputed belt. If you hold all four of them, you're the undisputed champion. You don't need to have another belt to show you're undisputed. It's kind of understood. Something that I also saw was that Devin Haney, a guy going from 140 to 147, and was the WBC champion at 140, will be going up to 147 and will become the number one contender if he's successful at beating Jose Ramirez on his May fight. He will become mandatory for Mario Barrios' belt at 147 at his first fight in a new weight class. I'm not sure what you guys think about that. I think that has a lot to do with Mr. Turkey Al Sheikh placing, once again, a trinket or a belt on the line, so that way you can have more juice added to these fights, so that way people can tune in, so that way you can attach, if it was an eliminator, I can understand, like if he was fighting an eliminator fight to become the WBC mandatory, but to be placed into a position in which you did not earn, it just seems like the other guys who have been busting their tails and trying very hard to secure a number one contender status, you now just skipping over the entire line and just jumping right to the front. I understand that his last fight at 140 was ruled a no contest because of Ryan Garcia testing positive for ostarine, a banned substance or performance enhancing drug. But for him to leave a weight class and move up and fight someone who is not ranked, because Jose Ramirez is not a 147-pound fighter. He's a 140-pounder fighter, going up to 147 to challenge Devin Haney. And for them to now, for that fight to be sanctioned for the number one contendership, it's kind of like a spit in the face to those other guys that's in the rankings. And when you go to these conventions and you talk to Mauricio Suleiman and you see promoters haggling or asking for permission to have their fighters even ranked in the top 10 of these sanctioning bodies, the amount of money that's paid once you are ranked into these sanctioning bodies, and that a part of your purse has to go to the sanctioning bodies because they're ranking you in their, in their rankings. It just seems very disheartening that someone from another weight class can just jump the line ahead of you and be at the front of the line. As far as Canelo goes, he's always been the guy who he's in the sport, but you can tell he doesn't care for the sport. And he is only going to do what is necessary for him to be successful at any level. He will move a guy from 160 to 168 to fight him. He will move a guy from 154 to 168 to fight him. He will fight fringe contenders. He will fight guys with not the level of resume. He will not fight guys that, if you have a chance to beat Canelo, he won't fight you, which tells you all you have to say about a guy who, what it looks like, has been at the top of the. Hey, hun, I'm leaving work now, so I gotta go. But thanks. Hope you have a great day, Miss Joette. Thank you so much for stopping by. It was really nice to see you in the chat. As you saw, I perked up a little bit. It's been a while. I'll be over there on Just News channel at 4 o'clock. I'll probably see you over there. But thank you once again for stopping by. Canelo Alvarez. He's been cherry picking is one word to say, or just manipulating the game where he always has the upper hand. His fights are never 50-50. They're more like 70-25. The guys he's picking, you have to bow down to Canelo to get a fight. You have to be very respectful. You have to, it's as if you're in a boxing match, but you can't punch him too hard, or you can't do certain things or else you won't get the fight. I've never seen a guy who fights for a living. Skills from New Orleans. Yo, you got to stop with that shit, man. I do not look like Bud. I even grew the beard out. Skills, so I don't look like Bud Crawford. I grew the beard out. Come on. I've never seen that man with a beard. And I'm better looking. It's disrespectful. What up, Skills from New Orleans? Salute to you. You want to jump up on the panel? Let me see if I can. Post the link in the chat. Hold on. Yes, how you been, brother? My guy, yo. Always clowning, always clowning. Anybody want to hit the link and come up? Canelo. Yeah, driving. Everybody on the road, yeah. Please be careful. Just hear the wisdom. Hear the wisdom I'm dropping. Thanks for stopping by. Hit the like button. And make sure you share it with one person. We have 409 subscribers. We are trying to get to 500 before the year is over. Salute to everyone passing through. Hit the like button. Canelo has just been on this campaign of, I don't care about the fans. I don't care about what fights y'all want me to fight. I don't even care what my contemporaries, the guys above me, the guys below me, I don't care what none of y'all have to say. I'm in boxing to make the most amount of money off of every single fight, and then I'm gonna go relax. He's not the face of boxing, in my opinion, because of the way he treats the boxing game. He's the face of what's wrong with the sport of boxing. He's the reason why the guys who are coming up are now treating the sport like, pay me and then I'll earn what I'm supposed to earn. Show me the money and then I will give you the fight I want. Not give me the fight and let me earn once I make those fights. It's more like, no, no, pay me first on what I haven't done. And therefore, I will. And that's how he's been moving the game. He's the same Canelo Alvarez that fought his sparring partner over a mandatory. He's dropped multiple belts. He's moved out of weight divisions. History will not be kind to Canelo Alvarez because people are keeping records of his behavior and what has taken place. You might say he's a great fighter with a great resume, and that at one point he would fight any and everyone. But as of right now, his approach to boxing is like someone who has a job but doesn't want to go every time. So he checks in and out of boxing, and he'll check up when it's like, all right, I need something to do. He is 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And each time he gets a big contract, you expect the level of competition to increase, but what's happening is it's decreasing. Now, William Skull is a good fight for the IBF, but if it was a good fight now for two-time undisputed, why didn't you take the fight when he was your mandatory challenger? You could have still been undisputed, got the fight, beat your mandatory challenger, and continue moving, yourself forward. But instead, you gave up that belt. He rarely challenges himself, unfulfilled potential. Yeah, because the last time that someone put him to prove himself, when it was against Lara or Floyd Mayweather, he got schooled. And that's why he left Oscar De La Hoya. Left Oscar for putting him in those tough fights. The fights that, if I think you're the man, I'm going to match you tough so you can prove to everyone that you're the man. If you lose one or if you have a close fight, that's okay. But these fights that he's having where he's knocking dudes down and then really just pit patterning them the rest of the fight, winning fights on decision, it just seems like he's getting paid. Like he's pretty much scheduled for to go 12 rounds every single fight. Every fight will go to the decision. I thought the last guy he was going to stop was Edward Berlanga. I thought that he had a chance. How wild he was, how he really didn't, set up shots, how he was very impatient. I thought that he would have stopped Edward Berlanga and sent a statement that these guys who want to challenge me are not on my level. And therefore, I have to knock them out to show them they're not on my level. But instead, you go 12 rounds with a guy who, for the most part, not an amateur, but suspect resume. He had 12 straight TKOs, and once the matching of his competition became a little bit harder, decision, close fight, biting a guy, like his skills didn't show that they were superior to a guy who had that many level fights and was not in his atmosphere. Forever known for fighting for fights he's supposed to win. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Canelo Alvarez does not take on any challenges, does not care what we, the people, have to say. He doesn't care about like his Mexican fan base, the people who rock with him, who go and support his fight, the people who he says he fights for. He is literally giving them a middle finger every time you look up at like his potential fights, because I believe they have an opinion too on who they would like him to fight, how they would like him to go about his business. But instead, it's like, what I give you, you must eat and be quiet about it. I'm Canelo. I've earned what I've earned. I put this work in, and therefore you should just sit back and enjoy what I'm doing for you. If that's the case, go be a promoter and prop up one of your young fighters to be the next Canelo Alvarez, because clearly you don't want to take on the responsibility as it pertains to you being one of the best fighters of this generation. Because that's how we would like to look at Canelo Alvarez. But when we really look at who he's fighting, we're going to go, he fought Jaime Munguia, guy moving from 160 to 168. You fought Berlanga. You fought John Ryder. You fought Callum Smith. You fought like these guys were just former so and so's who will be forever lost in the wind. Unless they go on to have spectacular careers after losing to Canelo Alvarez, their names will die in the wind. The minute, the minute a potential threat appears vulnerable, he becomes interested. The minute a potential threat appears, yeah, pretty much. Um, I mean, Skills, what do you think about the Bud versus Canelo fight? I've heard a lot of different takes on how that fight will go. I've seen multimedia, which is a great channel that breaks down the fights. Give 10 reasons that Canelo will win. We'll give 10 reasons that Crawford could win. But I can't call that fight right now. Um, I know that the bigger man usually beats the smaller man, but we've also seen Usyk, a guy going up in weight from cruiserweight, which is not very, but too small. Going from cruiserweight to heavyweight, take on the likes of a Tyson Fury, a Joe Joyce, and a Daniel Dubois, and show that with my skill set, I can hang or beat the potential likes of you guys because my skill set outweighs your deficiencies. You know, what I do good, you can't. So therefore, my skill will rule the day. Um, I think it's a potentially good fight. The marketing around it, the trash talking, Bud having the opportunity to become 3 times undisputed, something only accomplished by Clarissa the Goat Shields, which she did last weekend when she knocked down Perkins once, but she hurt her a bunch of times in that fight. She is the only 3 time undisputed champion in boxing. Rigo better box than Loma moved up, got outclassed. Better boxer than Loma moved up and got outclassed. Yeah, yeah. And one of the greats out of that Cuban school of boxing, and still my brother salute. Bud gets stops or runs and lose almost every round. Charlo showed us what will happen, and Charlo's train is better than Bud's. Hold on, let me hook you up, my boy. Hold on. Let me get you right. Let me get you right. Okay, okay. Came on. Let me see. Bud barely gets past Matt. Who's Matt? Salute, my brother. Salute. Thank you for popping up. Um, so why does he want a potential fight in which he might get stopped? Would that be devastating to his career if the event that he takes on a fight and loses in that fashion? Oh, Madrimov. I got you. I got you. I got you. Madrimov. Yeah. Yeah, I saw the Madrimov fight. I thought it was closer than it appeared. I didn't think Bud was clearly uh payday with the built-in excuse. Dare to be great. Oh, we haven't seen Mel since that dared to be great. That payday must have been so big. And Mel's like, actually something else. I seen is it Mel or Moore? I always get them confused, but the one who slapped Caleb Plant slap said he's willing to make that fight happen. I would love to see that fight on a Houston card. Free PB, free prime TV. Caleb Plant, Jamal, Jamel, Jamal Charlo versus Caleb Plant, 168 grudge match. I got the banner already. You don't need to title it nothing else. And you can just play that slap over and over at the end. Just boom, 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 boom. Dare to be great, get paid, sacrifice mm, prestigious. Oh, you think fighters be selling their O's? I feel like that happens over at Top Rank. Mm. Yeah, I saw that Maul was on his list of people to fight. Um, what you call it? That Maul was one of the guys on his list, plus the guy who beat Jaime Munguia was also on. What you think a O goes for? If y'all could put a dollar number on how much your O is valued at, what would you say your O is worth? I feel like that happens at Top Rank. And what I mean by that is they'll match a prospect versus prospect, and one is undefeated and one is upcoming. And when they go into the fight, he doesn't fight with none of the things I've seen before in his fight style. Zero, just no movement, no jab. Just he like, did he sell his O? Like, did he sell himself his O and then get re-signed with Top Rank, and now he's on a contract with them. So now instead of that one fight, now he gets 3 fights with them, and then he can make more money. So therefore, like the O is bad, but at Top Rank, we can make that O disappear. We can tell everyone, you was hurt that fight. If anything, man, we could fix the graphics to where your O is not even there anymore. Like, listen, we've done it for Loma. Just look at our track history. We can make your O appear not so bad in the eyes of a lot of people. Any amount that equates to generational wealth. So we're talking millions. So 500,000 skills, you're not going in there and dropping that O? 500,000. One time. One fight. You only get one shot. Would you guys like to see Maul versus Bud at Mel? Mel versus Bud at 154? Why can't that be a fight that Bud takes in the meantime waiting for Canelo? Mel, right? The undisputed. Yeah. Nope. Yeah, I couldn't. Can't think of anyone that sold their O. I mean, Rickendow sold his O when he sat on the stool and he was being outclassed by Lomachenko. Nah, not Fulton. Come on, not still. And still, come on. He didn't sell his O. The guy had loaded gloves, which he told y'all before the fight. I think Rigo, there was a guy who went over to Top Rank to fight on their card. EJ sold his. For how much? Nah. Nah. The review of this tape is gonna go crazy. See? All right, y'all see what up? Right. Lomachenko made you quit on a stool because he was moving too much? Come on. That was also a Top Rank propaganda with all them guys quitting in the corner. From what? From this guy pity patting you like he was in the amateurs? From him styling on you? Oh, I'm over here. Oh, I'm over here. You know what? Forget this boxing shit, man. I'm out. Hell Brooks, so yeah. Ooh. That's a good one. Blame Eddie Hearn for that selling though. Blame Eddie Hearn for that selling. That Kell Brooks selling this old Triple G. That's a good one. Damn, we could really have that conversation. Selling your old. Who else? You think Jared Big Baby Anderson sold that O? Or he just got knocked the hell up? Boxing is a crazy sport where things like that could happen and we would never know. You there thinking that prospect's going to give it his all, give it his best, go crazy. Just make sure he does nothing to lose that fight. And you look up and like, who's that fighting in there? That's not the guy I saw 3 fights ago. Hungry, animal, just the work ethic, the bravado. And it's like, well, and still TV. I have been seeing that it is a machine over at Top Rank. The matchmaking, the way that it's being talked about. Like, you can sit through a broadcast and 17 million times you're going to tell you how great this guy is over that guy. And it's like, well, what has he done that's so great? And whoa, 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 whoa. There's no questions here. Listen to what we're telling you. They beat you over. And look at Lomachenko and Lomachenko and Lomachenko and Lomachenko and Lomachenko. I'm like, bro, what's going on over there? Like, hold on a second. Hey, I have no questions. You're not allowed to ask questions at these top rank events. All right, you listen and take the information. We dictate to you who is the great. Okay, we're gonna tell you who is the great person in whatever the thing they're fighting at. All right, Xander Zayas. I'm gonna need you to get matched a little bit more quickly. Okay, Keyshawn, you don't know this, but you're in a tough fight. Wawrinka will not just hand you his belt. I'm sorry for the people. I also will be posting there's like 4 to 5 different February 15th. There's a February 14th Keyshawn versus Wawrinka fight card. I should have looked that up for you guys so I could have everyone that's on that list. I definitely know Abdullah Mason's on there. Tiger Johnson is on there. Big Baby Anderson, I believe, makes his ring return. There is a stacked February 14th Valentine's Day fight card in New York. Should have been discussing that, but I wanted to go over that Canelo saga because it was just too crazy for news to be just dropping out the sky like that. Casuals or coaches believe what they see and are wrong. BI top rank. Yeah. They don't think we trust our eyes. They want to tell us what we should see as opposed to letting us see what we should see. So Wawrinka versus Keyshawn. Keyshawn Davis has stated that he will knock out Wawrinka in 1 round. That's too much expectations to put on yourself because if it goes to 5, then what you gonna say for yourself? Can he do it? Possibly. Do I see it happening? I don't. He's in for a tough fight versus Wawrinka. I don't think that Wawrinka is like, here's my belt. Have a good day. Top rank. Thank you so much. I wanted to be champion with my brother. I was for like 2.5 seconds. All right, time for me to go back to the Ukraine. He is a fighter who represents his country and knows that his country people will be watching him on that night defend his belt for the first time after he's gotten it. I think the reason why they want to come off of one of those belts is because Lomachenko and Wawrinka will not fight each other. They're countrymen. So it's pretty much like the 135 division is tied up. You got 2 guys that won't fight each other. You got Tank on the other side of the street, and you got Shakur on the other side of the street. So therefore, where are we getting a unification fight? But if I can get Loma to come off that IBF belt and Wawrinka to come off that WBO belt, yeah, we can start talking some money. I got a lot of fighters at 135. I got Keyshawn. What's my other guy's name? The one who fought Tevin Farmer and didn't look too good. Man, his name escapes me right now. Yeah, he's fighting an IBF eliminator. And the way the IBF work is if you become the #1 challenger in that division and the fighter cannot Bruce, gas, boxing, jazz, and more, salute. Salute to everyone. Salute to everyone. Thanks for popping up. What'd you call it? You have him fighting for an IBF eliminator. If he wins that fight and then Loma is unable to come back into boxing and fight for his belt, they might just elevate that guy to champion. So that's an IBF champion over at Top Rank. Then whoever happens between Keyshawn and Wawrinka, someone will hold that WBO belt. Top Rank having 2 of the belts in their control at 135, meaning Shakur, who has left Top Rank, has to come back for a unification fight, or Tank Davis has to do a joint venture with Top Rank in order to make that unification fight. So Top Rank is trying to secure the biggest bag by holding on to the champions at 135. Salute to love seeing my brothers in the chat, man. Really dope. I gotta start setting a schedule where I can jump on here at a scheduled time so that we all get on here together. But it really is nice to see everybody in the chat having a conversation, reading the chat. I know I'm just here blabbling, but it'd be really dope to see everybody because it's like the opinions are how my brain thinks. We kind of same, but salute, salute, salute. Yeah. So you got the So after the February 15th, Keyshawn. I mean February 14th. Excuse me. You also have the Oscar Duarte fight on February 15th, and I saw like three other fights. There's a lot of fights this weekend. There's a fight Friday. There's a fight Saturday. I will be posting them on the channel. Please lock in. I have been posting up most of what's been going on in the news with the Ring magazine, with Canelo Alvarez, with future fights that are being placed, and the dates that are already being secured. Um, you also had Dillian White? No, Derek Chisora beating Otto Wallin. Something I didn't see happen. I thought Otto Wallin was going to watch him, but maybe he's just too damaged from the Joshua fight. But I didn't see that coming. Um, then that's going to be, boxing, as you can see, is moving. Dates are being finalized. Fights are being in place, whether they're in April, whether they're in May. Like you don't have to guess or have to figure out what's going to be happening. It looks like we have more of a fluency going on where the Zone, Top Rank, PBC, and Prime, they're putting on cards and they're moving their schedule along. Fights are being announced. Like they might want to get to a card, complete a card, and then announce another one, or they'll put out two cards in the event of something that is going on, so that way you know what to expect moving forward. Um, Boxing is moving along just fine. The circus show between Canelo and Jake Paul. Did I even discuss that part? Yeah. Jake Paul says he's going to sue or has the potential to sue Canelo Alvarez because he had a signed contract for their fight. It was going to be sometime in May. There was an agreement signed before Canelo, signed with Turkey Al Sheikh and Riyadh season for four fights. What does Jake Paul do? I know Jake Paul had a fight with his brother, Jake versus Logan. I'm not sure how real that was. I can't take, what he puts up as serious or if it's just injection. But he was scheduled to fight his brother. I guess a fight that no one wanted to see. But if he has Netflix putting up the bill where he can put, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, Shadeja Green, and some of his other fighters that's with MVP Promotions on that fight card, then, people might not like what's the headline, but if the undercard is good with real fighters, H2O, with potential fighters that we all know about and like to watch them fight, then it's okay for that fight card to go on because you get what you get and you don't have to stay around. I mean, you will probably, like I did with the Tyson thing, but I was really trying to watch the Amanda Serrano. We need Turkey. Nah, we need Ab. No, we don't need Turkey. We don't need fake belts. We don't need fake propaganda. We don't need guys putting on like they're doing something when they're really not. We need fighters where we can go and support the fight. If fights are just because they're on TV, then boxing would be dead. If you don't want anyone at the arena, if you don't want to make anything off the gate, if you don't want to make anything off the concessions, if you don't want to sell any merchandise, and you want to put boxing on just a box, boxing will die because part of boxing is to go to those events. Like I'm going to Atlantic City to go watch Boots fight in April. I'm going. I missed the last one. I'm going. And that's part of boxing as a whole, being in the arena for that event. If it was just something that you can just click on your TV and watch, then why is the tickets $5,000 for the Super Bowl? Why are they running $1 million ads? Because boxing or the sport in itself, you have to generate revenue. Having a fight in Saudi Arabia with four people that you don't know who just only came so they can have their face flashed on the camera does nothing to build on the sport. You love boxing because you're something you can go and support. Like you want to go to your football events, you want to go to your basketball events. Imagine if they took all sports and said, yo, just watch it on the television. We're going to sign the biggest NBA contract, but you can never go to a single game ever again in your life. It would remove the fandom from being a part of the sport. Like I like basketball. Knicks got their ass kicked last week. I'm tight, lost some money, but part of it is being able to go to those events. Al Heyman puts on fights in the United States that we can attend and that we can spend our money and support our favorite fighters. Hey, Tank, you gonna be in Brooklyn? How much are the tickets? A little high right now. Oh, damn. All right, I'm gonna try to buy them the day up. If I can get 2 tickets for the price of what they was charging for one, I'm in the building. But imagine you're never able to go to a Tank fight. You're never able to support Shakur Stevenson because he's never here. Like he wasn't in Newark. I remember going to Shakur fights. Turkey is the reason the O's get sold. Then I guess he ain't good for the sport then. What would you do for generational wealth? Yeah, I think Turkey needs to balance America and Saudi Arabia and give each its due diligence as far as putting on these events. I like Turkey, and he has some cards. And um, they were said that because when they do fights in America, they lose so much money and Skill TV that it doesn't make any. Like when they do it in Saudi, the money is staying in Saudi. Like when we pay, so when they pay the fighters, it's the fighters' jobs to go pay taxes on the money that they're giving them. So they remove the risk of the payment because it's like I'm paying you from my own funds. You now have to go pay taxes on the money I paid you. Like when Tyson Fury, I believe, got I think it was over 100. Don't quote me on that, but something to that effect. Before coming back to where he lives, he has to pay a tax on it because you're getting paid outside of where they can't tax your money. So you might be getting the bag, but are you keeping the bag? You know what I mean? Because you're getting paid on foreign soil, and it's like you have to declare that income. You can't just walk back a millionaire like, "Hey, I got $1 million." Whoa, 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 whoa! State and federal, my boy, and medical, and so that million that you're getting paid as it pertains to Turkey Al Sheikh, when you come back to the States, that might be 850. When you could have been in the States, made a million, got the gate, got piece of, you know what I mean? Get piece of the pay-per-view. You're taking off more of the money because it's in your country. I knock it right. Hey, this is a business expense. I'm writing this off. I'm writing that off. You can't go to a foreign state. If I go to, it's like you have to do your currency exchange every time you go, and the currency exchange is kicking these fighters' asses because it's such a large lump sum. I made 100 on a fight, and I'm only taking home 100. I get 75. Am I gonna be mad? I still got 75 million. I don't know. I guess it's how your bank account works. But I want all my money. I worked hard for it. I don't want to keep my money in my, you know what I mean, in my pocket, as opposed to paying back dividends on money that I earned. It's like sending somebody money through Cash App. And when you go to withdraw the fee, they're like, "Oh, you gotta give us 50 cents." Like, damn, no longer $5. It's 4.50. Yo, when you sending me $5, send me 5.50. So when I withdraw it, it's $5. Like, bro, but you asked for $5. I'm like, yeah, I know, but then the fee, and then when I try to get it right now, I can't use it right. I'm like, bro, do you want $5 or not? I'm like, yeah, I do want $5, but do you have 5.50, or can you just send me $6 so I could withdraw the money and get $5? And I'm like, bro, I don't got $6 for you, bro. I got $5. So make it work. It's something similar to that. Shout out to Cash App. Um, yeah. Listen, boxing is in a great place. I am enjoying the momentum of what's going on. Fights still to come, potential fights, the unknown of what's to happen in boxing. A lot of moving parts, a lot of things could happen. Like nothing, nobody's in a fight that's like, all right, lock, lock. Oh, why would you even show that? Every fight to me, as of right now, that's been on the schedule is competitive, and I look forward to being pleasantly surprised by the outcomes of some of these fights and what happens after the fight. Like, you don't want to look ahead to anyone's career or what they're going to do after, but in your mind's eye, you're like, yo, he beats that dude. Like, we gonna fight next? Like, as soon as David Benavidez beat David Morrell and cost me some money, my first thought was like, who we gonna fight next? And they're like, the winner of Turviev Bivol, and I'm like, you ain't gonna fight that nigga next. Come on, son. He gonna fight somebody else at 175, but he ain't gonna fight that nigga next. They're like, yeah, he gonna fight that nigga. I'm like, for real? That's different. That's different. Mm. Listen, boxing is in a wonderful place. The circus that Canelo Alvarez is trying to turn boxing into, I think we can look forward onto actual boxing and what's really going on, and not get too caught up in what he's doing. Like, leave him to the side. Let him do what he's doing, earn his money, and eventually we'll just shove him out the door, and won't have to worry about hearing the name Canelo Alvarez ever again. And if he loses a couple of these fights, then we really won't have to hear what the hell happens to him, because that 4-fight deal with a couple of losses on it is gonna look really bad for his resume. But for now, boxing's in a smooth place. I'm grateful, making some coin off of this thing. So we're gonna keep growing, keep moving. Salute to everyone that pulled up, start from the beginning. Uh, Miss Joette, Skills from New Orleans, and Still TV, Bruce Gas, Boxing and Jazz. Salute to everyone that pulled up. It means a ton to me. I'm gonna get out of here. I will be posting all of the fight cards on my channel. I'm gonna try to put the undercard fighters on there as well, so you can see the full lineup of who's scheduled to fight, what platform they're fighting on, and where you can watch. And I'll probably do that in like a quick little short video, so that way you can catch it on that replay. Peace and blessings to everyone. Um, Thank you everyone for popping up. It was a really great show. I really enjoyed talking this boxing with y'all and seeing everybody. All right. Peace and blessings.